Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the north? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, I checked again today. Speaking of today, it is Tuesday, May the 19th in the year of our Lord 2015, which means we're now heading towards the back half of May already. We are in the back half of May. This is the 19th. And half would be around the 15th or 16th. So we're on the back half of May now, and it's unbelievable how time flies when you're having fun. The phone number that if you wish to dial me this evening is 603-835-3224. That is a toll-free number, 603-835-3224. And there's a program that I caught on Hulu the other night, and I thought it was it's a takeoff or a spin-off, if you will, for one of my favorite reality shows. And I don't watch reality shows, but I don't think the Shark Tank is really so much a reality show as it is. I don't know what you'd call it, an opportunity show. I don't, it's kind of like the Prophet is kind of a reality show, I guess. I think it's with CNBC or something like that for the Prophet. Again, I catch that on Hulu too. But it's amazing. It's about business, obviously, and when I look at all of these people around this country who claim that they don't have opportunity. They just claim that they don't have opportunity. We don't have opportunity, Rod. And I look around and I see these folks that appear on Shark Tank. And some of them literally are 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds. Yeah, they get assistance from their parents. And a couple of times I've heard, some of these kids... they're 14 or 15 years old. They come up with an invention, and their parents believe so much in the invention that they get a second mortgage out in the house or something, or refinance the house to help the kid. One of them who did that was a water bottle. It was a different type of water bottle, and you could basically create your own fruit infused water flavors within this water bottle. allow you to do it. And I think he's got some patents on it or what have you. But evidently his mother and stepfather took out a second or third, whatever. They refinanced their mortgage. And the kid, he was on a Shark Tank. And all the sharks said, they passed. Simply because they felt that the parents weren't there. But the parents did put up money for the product for their house. But the thing that I find interesting is that in the next Shark Tank or the spinoff, it's called Beyond the Tank, and it follows later some of the people that the sharks invested in. In this particular case, this kid, none of the sharks invested in him, but they previewed or showcased this kid anyway with the water bottle. And as it turned out, he decided that he wasn't going to let the Shark Tank define his goals and dreams. And so he pressed forward, and he got his product onto store shelves himself. He finished developing the product, and basically, his sales took off, and he's still in high school, and but he paid back his parents. He paid off their mortgage, so this company's kind of debt free. So it kind of behooved him not to get a deal. And there was another character who did get a deal with Barbara Corcoran. Was it Barbara? I think it was Barbara. Anyway, it had something to do with an interchangeable bikini. Yeah, it was Barbara. And it's a custom designed bikini. You could create your own bikini. It doesn't really matter how you did it, but you could create your own bikini through and mix and match different fabrics and such to put on the same bikini and have it custom made for you and sent to you. But they had an issue with the site. The site crashed simply because of the guy appearing on Shark Tank and Barbara deciding to invest in him. And he went and blew a lot of his money on a party to celebrate being on Shark Tank and getting a deal. But he didn't pay attention to the fact, something could have happened to the website, so he's going to need the money in order to get it fixed. Well, ended up that the website crashed and he never recovered. So he went out of business before he even got started. But now he's back, and he's got another idea, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I don't think he's going to be on Shark Tank anytime soon. But it just shows that no matter how old you are or how many times you think you fail, there's opportunity for you to get back up and jump on your feet and do something. Be productive with your life. And not be defined by those who want to call you failure. Earlier today there was there was somebody who was on Facebook who was talking about P. Diddy, and how P. Diddy was lamenting the fact that the black on black crime was pretty devastating to blacks. They were basically wiping themselves out. And the people that were commenting on it, they were other blacks, and they were saying, this fool right here. And I'm thinking, I'm not a huge P. Diddy fan. I'm not a part of his fan club. I'm not a fan of his I like some of his songs. I'm not a huge fan of his music. I'm not a fan of, of his business practices. He had that reality show too, a while. And I saw like 6 episodes. I wasn't a big fan of Diddy. But he's got a point. And it's kind of shameful that those who are also black would put down another black person for pointing out the truth. And here's the truth. Black on black crime or black on black murder far exceeds cops killing blacks, either justified or unjustified, or combined. The number of blacks who die at the hands of other blacks exceeds cops killing blacks. That's just a stat. Now, you toss on the fact that in some major cities in the United States, more black babies are aborted than are born, and you start to see where P. Diddy is coming into play here and what he's saying. He's saying, you know what? we're basically wiping ourselves out faster than anybody else can. And the numbers, the population numbers, do not lie about that. The black population in this country is on the decline. So this whole thing that, it's all white people's fault. No. We got to take some responsibility for ourselves here. If you stop murdering your babies in the womb by having them ripped out via abortion, well, you're going to have more babies. And you know what? I understand the fact that too many of them are already being born in poverty into single mothers and all that kind of stuff, and that needs to change too. But at the same time, you don't change the whole system by killing your babies. I mean, you can't keep your population base the same, and you can't grow it if more people are dying than are being born. Yeah, you hear what I'm saying, folks? But at the same time, these folks are saying, well, why? What's the use? We don't have any opportunity. And I got to tell you, watching Shark Tank, there have been a lot of minorities that have gone through the Shark Tank doors that have gotten deals. Damon John isn't the only one who's invested in a minority business on Shark Tank. These people come through the Shark Tank door with an idea, with a concept that they can prove, and the sharks see it. They're all about money too. They're all about money. It's business. Business is business, and they look at money as and they say, okay, we can invest in this because we expect a return. We expect to make money with your product or service that you're going to offer. And we think that you've done a good enough job with it, that it is something that other people are going to want to part with their hard-earned money for. So these people are, what was the kid? The kid was like 10 years old. He was a black kid. He was like 10 or 11 years old. And he created his own line of bow ties. And I think his line of bow ties is now going to be in Macy's. The kid was like 11 years old. He didn't get a deal from the Sharks, but Damon John agreed to mentor him. The kid came up with the designs. Look, I'm not a bow tie fan. And personally, I don't like them. The only time I'm going to wear a bow tie is if it's an ultra formal affair and everybody's wearing tuxedos. All the guys. And then you wear a bow tie with a tuxedo. But other than that, I don't wear a bow tie. This kid loves bow ties. He invented and created his own bow tie designs, his own bow tie line, and now they're in a major department store. So you want to tell me that this kid, only the people, only the African Americans who appear on Shark Tank, they're the only ones who can find opportunity? Really? It doesn't matter the color of your skin because that type of excuse runs the gamut. Although there is one ethnic group, actually there's a couple of ethnic groups I don't hear that type of BS from. I don't hear Asians or Asian Americans saying that there's lack of opportunity. I don't hear them complaining about that. I don't hear Indian Americans, Indians from India, complaining about lack of opportunity. When it comes to Native Americans, I don't hear them complaining about lack of opportunity either. I hear them complaining about government keeping them from opportunity, which is really the case here. When it comes to Native Americans, let's be honest, that is a Native American plight. It isn't the fact that there is no opportunity for them. The fact is that, and they lament it, they can't get from under the thumb of the federal government. Not that be a lesson to people who want government to be a big brother or a big sister to them. You got a whole class or group of people or ethnic people in this country who don't want to be a part of the problem, but they're often not allowed to create their own solutions. They're not allowed to run their. The Bureau of Land Management that runs Native American lands, they don't let Native Americans pretty much do what they want to do with their own property. Well, no. The Native Americans, they say, well, we want to deal with, other businesses in other countries on our own, on our property. And the government says, no, we'll handle that for you. So even though they can see opportunity, unless they, decide that they're going to come up with a casino, they're not really allowed to be in charge of their own destiny. And yet, they already know that there's opportunity there. They're just not, believe it or not, they are not allowed to utilize that opportunity. But everybody else in this country is. And we want to, just talk about, we don't have any opportunity. Are you kidding me? There's opportunity all around you. I don't care where you live, especially today with today's technology and how cheap technology is. And you have the internet. Look, there are people that have started internet companies that didn't even own their own computer when they got started. I mean, look, I talk with entrepreneurs all the time. And there was a particular entrepreneur around here in New England. Now, basically how she got started. She got started on eBay and Amazon. Now, how did she do? She didn't even have her own computer. Not only did she not have her own computer, but she lived in a rural area. There was no internet access. The only place that she could get internet access was at her public library. You know what she did? She went to the library every day for 6 months. She ran her eBay and Amazon business from the library for 6 months. And then she was able to get her own computer with the profits from that business. And then she was able to get, a Wi-Fi carrier services, like the hotspot thing. She was able to do that type of thing. And she was able to, and now, she's earning 6 figures a year. Yeah, she's expanded beyond eBay and Amazon, but the whole point is she saw an opportunity back in 2008, 2009. She got started by going to the library and utilizing what is available to her already. And now she's a contributing member to society. Yeah, and she even employs a couple of people part-time. That's a huge turnaround from not even having a computer and internet service to having, full internet service and being able to employ and pay for a couple of people. Yeah, in other words, now she's paying taxes, and her employees, her part-time employees, are paying a little bit in tax too. So there you go, opportunity. She took advantage. The difference is that we have an abundance of opportunity in this country for everybody. The problem is that most of us who complain that we don't have opportunity simply do not take advantage of the opportunity that we have. We do not look to create opportunity for ourselves. We want somebody else to just drop opportunity in our lap. But a lot of times you have to go out and create it. You have to look for it, you have to search for it, and you have to create it. And that is one of the reasons why I think Shark Tank is such a huge and phenomenal success. Not to mention, these sharks the sharks are coming back and admitting they're making a killing off of this stuff. And we have people that are starting these small companies, and they're building their businesses and employing real people. I mean, that's the good thing. That's what this country's all about, is not only having the opportunity, but taking advantage of that opportunity. I mean, we've got opportunists all over the place. There's good opportunity and there's bad opportunity. We have good opportunists and we have bad opportunists. Now, the bad opportunists, they tend to be the scammers. They tend to be the criminals. They tend to be, a lot of times, politicians. But the bad opportunists are always out there blaming and condemning the good opportunists. Now, who are the good opportunists? The good opportunists are probably people like you and me who start a business, even just if it's just a part-time business, just to help them make ends meet. The good opportunist is the one who takes advantage of the system, that legally takes advantage of the system, to come to market with an idea, a product or service that other people want and are willing to pay for. And then another good thing about a good opportunist is that these people will start to, as their business grows, their opportunity grows, they begin to hire new people. I had somebody, and I can't remember, Genesis something? I think it was Genesis. This person approached me about a multi-level marketing company. And it's a nutrition firm, and there are tons of them out there. And he was really excited about it. And evidently, he's doing quite well. I'm thinking to myself, there's another one. Okay. Look, I get approached by these things all the time. You should do this, Rod. You should look. I've been involved in one way or another with multi-level marketing companies called Old World, Amway. Everybody knows Amway, and Polar Communications, which no longer exists, by the way. Neither does Old World. So I'm pretty familiar with this stuff. And every day, or every week, it seems like there's a new, especially the big ones now, is communications and nutrition. Like, now there's multi-level marketing companies for deregulation on energy. Have a network of people who buy electricity from another type of company instead of the standard. Like around here, we have the old standards, which are PSNH and Public Service in New Hampshire, Granite Electric and Unitil and a couple of others. But we have these companies now. I think one of them was it Ambit, I believe, is opening its doors here, virtual doors here in New Hampshire. Again, opportunity for people who want to take advantage of it. It's there. Now, I am not endorsing any of them. I'm just telling you that I've been approached or I've participated in some of these things. I've participated in Amway. I've been approached by people in Melaleuca and the Fuller hairbrush thing and Pampered Chef and Ambit and a couple of other energy deregulated energy company, whatever. Some nutritional companies people have approached me about. Look, those are fine if you want to take advantage of them. That's opportunity. And the good thing about opportunity is you have the ability to choose your opportunity. You don't have to take any one of them. You can choose an opportunity that is best for you. I mean, I don't understand why that is such an issue. It comes right down to it. You're the one responsible for you. You're the one that should be responsible for you. I understand that there are people that are lamenting the fact that in some municipalities around the country, they're cracking down and making it illegal for people to feed the needy, feed the homeless. And they're saying, well, how can we be called a Christian nation if it's illegal for us to feed the homeless? Well, we are a Christian nation, and there are Christians out there trying to feed the homeless, but then we've taken God and Christianity out of the public square, if you will, out of government. So our government is very secular now. And in many of these places that it is illegal for a regular person or a group of people or a religious group to feed the homeless, they're run by liberals or Democrats. So, but they say, well, how can we call ourselves a Christian nation? And then they uphold people like Bernie Sanders, who laments the fact that we can't feed. We've got all these laws against feeding the homeless. Well, Mr. Sanders, your big government cronies are the ones who are saying they're the ones that are trying to shut down opportunity for people, like with the Native Americans. They're the ones who are trying to prevent people from doing good. They're the ones who are trying to prevent good opportunists. And then when a good opportunist finds a way to do something legally even today, you've got those who are bad opportunists like Mr. Sanders who want to shut them down, who only want you to be dependent on an ever-increasing, bigger and bigger and bigger government. If somebody says big government's the answer, you know for sure they're a bad opportunist. Run.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up. with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
You know, bad opportunists are just going to be bad opportunists no matter what. They're always looking for how to capitalize on the negative. And by capitalizing on the negative, they are lining their own pockets with power and cash. The Clintons are like this. Hillary Clinton is a bad opportunist. She's not a good... can somebody tell me what have the Clintons contributed to society? You know, they've worked for government most of, the vast majority of their adult life. They've never run anything themselves other than campaigns. They've never run a business. They've never... other than Hillary being a part of the Rose law firm, I don't think they're kind of like the Obamas. I don't think they've ever really held a private job, a private company job. They've always been in the public sector somehow or feeding off the public sector. A bad opportunist always finds a way or looks for a way to take advantage of those who are trying to help themselves. That's a bad opportunist, folks. And you can look at a lot of them are in politics because it's the easiest. I hate to say it's a profession, but it's the easiest profession there is to conduct and commit a scam on the largest number of people and get away with it. Bad opportunists are always looking for scams. Now, in this state, we got one of our Republican legislators, Frank Ginta, I guess, is being called to account for some campaign spending that he did that was probably questionable and not above board. I don't know the whole story. Ginta's a Republican. But look, if the guy did something that was not legal as far as campaign financing rules are concerned, he should resign. There are Republicans that are a Republican senator here, Kelly Ayotte, is telling Ginta, yeah, if I were you, man, I'd resign. You don't get that same kind of call to action from Democrats when it's another Democrat. Now, of course, a Democrat's going to say, yeah, Ginta should resign. Yeah, he should resign. Now, I don't know I don't know the full scope of what he's alleged to have done. But here's the thing, if he's not guilty, then hell no, he shouldn't resign. But if he knows he did something wrong and it was brought to his attention that he did something wrong, yeah, he should do the right thing and resign. But Democrats would never do that. Democrats would never call for one of their own to resign unless it was just so obvious. I mean, look, they're still supporting Hillary, and there's just no possible way that you should be standing behind Hillary Rodham Clinton. I mean, I don't know. We should change her maiden name Rodham to Rotten. Hillary Rotten Clinton. Somebody said we should call her Hilarious. So yeah, okay, Hilarious Rotten Clinton. I think everybody would know who that is. And somebody would probably say, Rod, you can't call people names like that. Well, look, this is just commentary. I'm not disparaging the woman, although some people think I am. I'm just saying what she has done and committed and what she is alleged to have done is just plain rotten. It's terrible. The woman doesn't deserve to be the nominee for president. Now, all of these allegations cannot be false. She's just embroiled. Look, Richard Nixon resigned for less than this. And yet this woman is seeking, she's not resigning anything, but she's seeking to be the nominee to be president. What is she going to do? Get in office and then let the scandals come out and then she's going to be forced to resign? And whoever whoever her second in command is, whoever the vice president is she decides to be, is automatically going to be president. Look, this is not House of Cards here. We do not need to end up with a Francis as president. Okay? This is not that at all. This is what we're leading up to. Can you imagine this? This woman, by whatever possibility, gets elected, duly elected, legally elected to the office of the presidency. And then the shit hits the fan. And it all comes out that everything plus more that we've been talking about on her is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. It's all true. Everything. And then there's more doubts about stuff when she was first lady of the U.S. and of Arkansas. So now she's high crimes and misdemeanors. She got to resign. She resigns, and then she gets pardoned by whoever the vice president is. Can you imagine if that's Elizabeth Warren? I mean, or if it's maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll ask Bernie Sanders. I don't know who would actually be on the same ticket as she is, but maybe it's Elizabeth Warren, an all female ticket. Yeah, if you're going to make history, you might as well make history big time. Not only first female president, but first female vice president, first presidential ticket, all female presidential ticket. And then, then of course she'd be the next two presidents, the first time ever, back-to-back presidents were female. Yeah, all kinds of history there if Elizabeth Warren jumps on board with this. I'm just saying. And Democrats are all about their legacy and creating history and being a part of history and being the history and all that kind of stuff. So how you can't get bigger history than that, really, than what I just said. So maybe Elizabeth Warren, vice president. Then, do you want Elizabeth Warren to be president? Anybody? Well, I'm sure there are probably some, wacko leftists in Massachusetts who would love the idea. But generally speaking, does anybody really want Elizabeth Warren to be president? Well, that's kind of a dumb question. And the answer to that is obviously for probably, I don't know, at least 75% of the American people, the answer would be no. But Hillary would be so encumbered that she would not be able to be an effective leader and she would have to resign. And then Elizabeth Warren would, you know what? I'll pardon you. Whatever you did, we'll just drop the whole thing so you can save face and go off and with your husband, Bill. And, I don't know if you want to stay married to Bill, go ahead. But that's what it is, folks. She's a bad opportunist that doesn't give a rip about you or me. She's only caring about lining her own pockets and achieving power. I mean, in the last, since she's left office of the Secretary of State, what is it? I just heard today, some $51 million or something, some god-awful amount of money for speeches. It's a ridiculous amount. It's nothing more than, it's basically she's just taking advantage of bad opportunity. She's a bad opportunist. Plain and simple. I mean, no, Democrats I know some people are probably saying, well, Rod, the Democrats aren't the only. Yeah, look, the politicians in general, the vast majority of politicians are bad opportunists. I'm convinced of that. I just look at the actions. I look at their individual histories. The majority of them, a good number of them are bad opportunists. And it is our duty as voters and citizens to try to weed out those bad opportunists so they stop creating bad opportunity for the rest of us. And they stop lining their own pockets. Plain and, look, she's a bad opportunist. Bernie Sanders is a bad opportunist. The man is nothing more than a communist. He'll go out there and he'll explain and try to say, well, yeah, hey, you can't feed the homeless now. Well, we can't feed the homeless because who? Government says that we can't. And who's in charge of the government? Well, people like Bernie Sanders. But he's going to go out there and complain. It's kind of like Obama. Yeah, I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for this, fighting for this. When he's the reason that the problem exists. He's not willing to take, I'm the president. I'll take responsibility. When it comes right down to it, he doesn't take responsibility for jack. It's always George Bush's fault. We're over 6 years into this guy's administration, and a lot of things are still the fault. I am sure he's probably sitting there thinking that, Ramadi, which just fell to ISIS, is somehow George Bush's fault. We're talking Iraq. Because, look, you can already see the buzzards in the White House, being bad opportunists. They see an opportunity here for the president to inflate himself and to inflate the Democratic Party. Bad opportunities. By blaming somebody else. Oh, no, we don't see a need to change our policy on ISIL. No, notice they never say ISIS. They never say ISIS. The White House, they always call it ISIL. There's a reason for that. Because, you see, Obama doesn't like Assad in Syria. So you cannot call it the Islamic State in Syria because Islamic State, they're terrorists. They're in Iraq and they're terrorists. But in Syria, they're heroes. So they can't say ISIS, but they can say the Islamic State in Libya. Because remember, this is what, our embassy was our consulate was attacked and our ambassador was killed along with 3 other Americans in Libya. Remember? Look, they don't do anything by accident, folks. I'm telling you, it's called bad opportunity, bad opportunist. You have to pay it. You have to see. I catch this stuff. You have to listen to what they are saying and what they are not saying because they're trying to grab a hold of opportunity in a bad way that benefits them and harms the rest of us. And it benefits them because they'll either get to keep or increase their power and their wallet size. Plain and simple. That's what a bad opportunist does. Now, if you listen to all the press conferences, they always seem to say ISIL, not ISIS. And so we have now ISIS in charge of much of Iraq, knocking on the door to Baghdad, but they're saying, we don't need to change our policy on ISIL because, sometimes, whenever there was, we had to take a step back in the policy, we've been able to take a step forward or two. You just lost another major city in a very important region of Iraq that is very close to the country's capital. Now, if now is not the time to change your policy on ISIL and ISIS, I don't know. When is the time going to come? Oh, when they actually take over Baghdad and they're in charge of the entire country? Not to mention, then they'll have access and have access to and own all of the American military equipment that's still there in Iraq. Hello? Look, folks, this is not a good thing. A bad opportunist is a bad opportunist for a reason. They're not after good stuff. They're not after to help you and me. They're not after to better our lives. They're only after to find a way to make things better for themselves. They're all about them. They're not about you. A good opportunist looks for ways to, Zig Ziglar once said, if you help enough people get what you want, you will automatically get, if you help enough people get what they want, this is Zig Ziglar speaking. If you help enough people get what they want, you will automatically get what you want. But see, an opportunist, all they're looking for is a way to get what they want. They could care less what you want or need. If what you want or need actually fits their plans, well, that's a bonus for them. Because then they're not going to have to fight you in any way. They know you'll willingly come along. But if here's last summer. Let me give you another example. Last summer, here in New Hampshire, I saw somebody selling a 1977 Chevy Impala. Now, my parents had a 76 Impala. It was that 70s green color. It was, it was the exact same car that my father bought in 1976, basically, but it was a 77. And it had that awful white vinyl roof on it. You remember, vinyl roofs were that was, if you couldn't afford leather, but vinyl was like, oh yeah, that's the next best thing to leather. That was an option. A vinyl roof was an option back then. When you look back on these things now, and you think, oh my God, those things were awful. They were ugly. But yeah, and the person who had it and was selling it, he's like, this is a classic, he said. Now, I stopped and looked at it because as I was driving by, I'm like, whoa, that's my dad's car from like 1976. So I turned around and I pulled in to take a look at this, and this guy's, it's on a dealer lot, by the way. It's on a used car lot, and he's calling it a classic. Now, I don't know if an Impala from 76 or 77 is really a classic. I don't think it is. But he's calling it a classic. Well, technically speaking, by the age, yeah, it's a classic car or an antique, whatever. But he's calling it and I know what people mean by classic. And this boat is not a classic. I mean, let's face it, they were not exactly pretty cars by any stretch of the imagination. During 76 and 77, yeah, it was called it was a beautiful car. But looking back on it, we look at some cars, from days gone by and say, that was a beautiful machine. I don't think people say that about a 76 or a 77 Chevy Impala. But yeah, so this guy has he's an opportunist. Now I'll let you decide if he's a good or bad opportunist. So I'm pulling in. I pull in and I look at this thing because it caught my attention because it's my dad's car. And I get out of my car and I walk over to this thing and he comes out, as they always do in the shark, used car sharks. And before I know it, boom, he's on top of me. Hey, how can I help you? She's a beaut, isn't she? That's a wonderful classic, isn't it? And as soon as he said classic, I kind of, the way I look at people as if they're crazy. I gave him my, you got to be kidding me, you're crazy look. And I, furrowed my forehead and said, you want to call it a classic? Okay. I just pulled over and stuff to look at it because my dad owned this car. I mean, not this particular one, but he owned this model. He said, oh yeah, I get a lot of people that come in here. They want to get the car that their parents had that they remember. Now I'm registering BS all, I see BS written all over this guy. Really, you get people coming in here to look to buy a car simply because their parents had it when they were kids. Really, I'm not buying it. So I'm looking at the interior. Bench seat vinyl. Not leather, vinyl. Vinyl, again, vinyl is a big thing back then. Because not everybody could afford leather. Leather was saved for Cadillacs. So the vinyl, bench seats. And it had a special stereo. Now, it wasn't this. My father had an aftermarket stereo. Now, the stereo really wasn't a full stereo. Basically, it was a cassette deck that he had added to the car. And they were separate speakers for the cassette deck that weren't hooked up to the radio. And this car had a special radio or hooked up. It was a cassette. But it was a radio and a cassette. So it was an aftermarket a stereo system of the day. And it was connected to these speakers. It sounded almost, from what I remember, it sounded just like my dad's. They were terrible. There was no bass, basically, to these things. It was all mid-range and treble. And they sound, by today's standards, they're like, oh, it hurts your ears. It sounds terrible. But back then, I guess, it probably sounded very good. And so it had this thing in there. And I'm thinking, well, I don't have cassettes anymore. Who has cassette tapes now? Because, oh, man, a lot of people have cassettes. Because you can pick them up for a song. Everybody's got them everywhere, man. All you got to do is just plop them in here, and it's going to sound great. And he had a cassette, and he plopped it in there and said, see, it still works. And that's how I know the thing sounded like crap. But this guy was looking to make a sale, and he thought, at least he was telling me, that I was like a lot of people that come on his lot looking for a particular car that their parents had when they were little kids. I said, interesting. And it looks like the vinyl top looks good. He says, oh, yeah, this is mint condition, original. Now I'm looking at it, and I know the difference between an aftermarket roof and not. This is not the original roof. Again, is this guy a good opportunist or a bad opportunist? This is not. See, the problem with vinyl back then, just like my dad's, even though he took care of it, it cracked. This didn't have a single crack in it. And we're talking a 1977 car. This is not the original vinyl roof. But he's playing it off as it is. Like I'm not supposed to know. Maybe many people don't. But he lied. So yeah, this guy was trying to take advantage of me. That's a bad opportunist. And then I look at the engine. Because yeah, this thing's only got 200,000 miles on it. 201,000 whatever. 200,000 miles on it, basically. Again, I'm looking at the engine. This is not the original engine. Where's the original? But he's trying to pass this off as being the original car. There's stuff that's been replaced on this. You can look at it and tell. But he's trying to pass it off as being all original. Thus, I guess, to try to justify the inflated price that he's trying to sell this thing for. In other words, he's trying to take advantage of someone. No, that's what politicians do. Because everybody who comes in the lot whose dad probably had a 76 or 77 Chevy Impala 4-door is probably thinking, yes, I want this to be exactly like my parents' car. They are looking to get, evidently, from what he says, they're evidently looking to get a memory, a piece of their childhood. And he's there to provide that for them. In other words, he's there to take advantage of them to try to convince them that he's got what they're looking for. He's not interested in actually looking for and helping them find exactly what they're wanting. He wants to fit what he has to their needs and their desires. And he will twist it any way he possibly can in order to get his way. That's exactly the same thing a bad opportunist politician will do. Instead of saying ISIS like everybody else, they'll say it's ISIL. Because they know ISIS is not going to get them what they want. But ISIL changes the whole perspective. This is ISIL, not ISIS. We were thinking ISIS. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the wrong terrorist group here. No, folks, it's the same thing. Don't be fooled by this. These people are all out for themselves. And they're basically saying, you know what? We believe that you're stupid enough not to pick up on this fact that we're calling them ISIL because we don't want you to associate them with Syria because we want to get rid of Assad in Syria so that ISIS can have a state, a true state. Well, I guess ISIS doesn't need Syria because they're putting a hurting on Iraq. And unless the president changes his policy, which maybe he doesn't want to change it at all, ISIS is going to own Iraq. Then you're going to see some real bad opportunists starting to take some play. Oh, well, hey, we have this, fully armed and advanced terrorist state now. Oh, we're going to need some additional laws here to protect the people here. Bigger government. Don't doubt me, folks. A bad opportunist will look for a good opportunity anywhere. Anywhere.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, You devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-IRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
There is no limit to what a bad opportunist will do. Let me tell you somebody else who some people might find surprising, who I am starting to believe is a bad opportunist. And that is Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. And people are, what? Rod? He was once the darling of the Republican Party. Look, that's what a bad opportunist does. They make you think and see, just like Obama did, they make you think and see that they are a sort of messiah, what you've always been looking for. That's how they get what they want. That's how a bad opportunist works. Now, another word or another name for a bad opportunist is con man. Or in Hillary's case, con woman. Yeah, I'm not going to say con person. No, that's going back to like when women were becoming firemen and policemen. No, I'm a police person and a fire person. No, you're a firewoman and a policewoman. I mean, there was even a TV show called Policewoman. Remember that? What was her name? Angie Dickinson played. What was it? Pepper something. Pepper was her name. 70s policewoman. They didn't say police. The title of the program wasn't police person. All this political correctness. That's also bad opportunist stuff. But here we have Chris Christie, who is who's been floating the idea of running for president ever since he blasted onto the scene in New Jersey when he won his first term as New Jersey governor. And looking back, hindsight is always 20/20. And you start paying attention to what the man is saying today, and you wonder, wait a minute, this doesn't jive with being a conservative. And everybody keeps saying, oh, yeah, Christie's a conservative and, conservative in New Jersey. No, he's kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe he did start out as a true conservative, but he's morphed into this rhino type of thing. And that is nothing more than a bad opportunist. Now, Schwarzenegger, on the other hand, he wasn't a bad opportunist. No. I think what Schwarzenegger finally did, he just got fed up and tired and gave up trying to deal with those wacko leftists out in California. He said, you know what? I just need to save a little bit of face so I can go back and make more movies. Do what I really want. He wasn't a bad opportunist, because if he was a bad opportunist, he would have stayed there and tried to run for governor again. No, he said, "The hell with this. I'm just going to go make more movies." But this is, Chris Christie isn't doing that. He's like, hey, people think I can be president. I'm going to try to improve my cred, if you will, and see if I can actually make a run for this and be, the next, Herbert Hoover, because let's face it, Chris Christie is not a skinny guy. But that is not the reason why I think he's a bad opportunist. But let me tell you why I think he is a bad opportunist, or possibly being shaken out as one. But first, let me say hello, my fellow Americans and all of my fellow liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, of course, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio, somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. We try to keep out bad opportunists, but we don't always do so. It is Tuesday, May the 19th in the year of our Lord, 2015. If you wish to join me live and weigh in on what I've been talking about, my number here is toll-free, 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Chris Christie on the NSA. Now, he says, now, you can't enjoy your civil liberties if you're in a coffin. Well, you can't enjoy your civil liberties if you don't have any, Mr. Christie. See, I know a lot of people, there are some people who like the Patriot Act. And I got to tell you, from day one, I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that they were creating this grand, huge new bureaucracy, called Homeland Security. Now, granted, most of the departments and agencies that now fall under Homeland Security needed to be put together. I do agree with that. We did not need a brand new and total agency or department to do that. And not only did George Bush create Homeland Security, he created it and used a very negative type of term or word, homeland. Now, you have to understand that every type of tyrant in the modern world has always referred to their base country as the homeland or the fatherland or the motherland. Homeland. That, to me, right there said, there's something wrong with it. And indeed, we've had nothing but problems. Citizens have had nothing but problems with Homeland Security ever since it was created. Going through all its different departments like the TSA and the Border Patrol. I mean, they're all part of Homeland Security. And they take in other agencies and other departments and put them under Homeland Security, like the FBI. But they left alone some of the very agencies that we needed to try to get together. Like the NSA and NASA, the National Security Agency and the CIA. I mean, think about this for a second. We have the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, already a secretive agency. Why did we need the NSA? That could be even more secretive. And then why did we need the Homeland Security when we already had Homeland Security agencies? And they tried to, we got to put them all under one roof and blah, blah. No, it was bad opportunity that presented itself that big government officials decided to take advantage of. And now it is starting to come out that Chris Christie is kind of one of those Republicans that's a big government Republican. So he's saying, the NSA, the National Security Agency, they need to have these humongous server farms that are storing our information. Really? Is it really the average American citizen that they need to collect information on? I mean, is that average American citizen really going to be safe? Or safer? I don't think so. Now, two sides of the surveillance. This is a hot air story, by the way. Two sides of the surveillance state coin. Now, understand that, again, whenever you have had a dictatorial type of government, it doesn't matter when it happened in human history. Whatever the technology of the day was, that is how they kept track of the citizens of their country. Hey, look, I know a lot of people saying, well, we need to know what these other people are trying to do to attack us. I agree. But do you label your own people as domestic terrorists? Do you label your military veterans who fight to protect the country and keep, your government in place? Do you label them potential domestic terrorists? Do you label a housewife and a soccer mom a potential terrorist? So, or do you label a guy who lives in Colorado who now is, just trying to, toke his way into heaven by smoking his way into heaven, you know what I mean? Do you all of a sudden start putting devices that track him without getting a warrant? Because, hey, this guy, he's buying and selling pot. He could be getting it from Mexico or something. He could be a domestic terrorist. Where does it end? Anything that you or I do, I could be labeled a domestic terrorist because I'm speaking out against the bad stuff that our government does. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a file on me at the NSA and Homeland Security. Honestly, I'm not being facetious about that. Where does it end? Look, our founding fathers pretty much, they nailed it on the head. They said, look, those of you who are willing to give up a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security deserve neither freedom nor security, and indeed will have neither. Because you think you're going to be safe, but where's your freedom? If you're saying that the NSA is there to protect your rights and your freedom, to protect and preserve the Constitution, then how do they do that? By destroying your rights as protected by the Constitution. How does the NSA protect your rights? By destroying and shredding the Constitution. Now you don't have any rights. Now you don't have any freedom. But you're also not necessarily any safer, because now you don't only have to worry about the terrorists, but you have to worry about your own government coming in and breaking down your door at 3:00 in the morning, which our government has done to people. So you have to ask, where does it stop? And now Chris Christie is like jumping on, well, you can't enjoy your civil liberties if you're in a coffin. Well, you can't enjoy your civil liberties if your government takes them from you. You don't have them. The NSA and the Homeland Security are not for the Constitution. I'm going to just put it out there. When it comes to the American citizen, they are not on the side of the Constitution for the American citizen. Because if they were, they would see that having these server farms that keep all this kind of information on us, on each and every individual American citizen, is not keeping us safe. It's kind of like the TSA out there, searching grandmas and little boys that are 6 years old and little girls that are 5. We got to search them for, potential weapons. And not once has the TSA ever prevented a hijacking from happening in this country. Not once. Not once. There's been no terrorists caught. There have been people there have been people, including government officials, who, for whatever reason, have forgotten they had a firearm or a weapon on them when they approached the TSA designated areas. And they're like, oh my God, I forgot I had it. I don't know about you, but I don't think, we've even had U.S. congressmen who've been caught with this type of stuff. I don't think they're terrorists. Now, I don't think a nun is going to be... Well, you got to understand, Rod, these terrorists, they can dress up as nuns. Well, yeah, I guess they can, but have they? No, we haven't caught any that are trying to dress up as nuns anywhere on the planet. But yet we're supposed to give up our dignity and our rights as we go through an airport. Oh, yeah, just let them take a total naked screenshot of you. No, it's not going to end up online or anywhere else. And then what happens? Everybody finds out, they have pictures of themselves online. Naked x-rays of them. Wait a minute. You just told me you weren't going to put this online. Well, sorry. Where does it end? Have we forgotten about that? 9/11 scared the living daylights out of the American people. Rightfully so. We had a government that fell asleep, that failed to protect us. When all they had to do was connect the dots and talk to each other. Absolutely right. The department heads and departments and agencies in this government did not. They all felt that it was their territory, and they did not communicate with each other. Bingo. They failed to connect the dots. Because if they did, and if they had, they would have prevented 9/11 from ever happening. But since they failed to connect the dots that were already there for them to connect, they decided that they needed to be able to, what? Take away some of our freedom. There was a bad opportunity there to grow government. And that's exactly what they did. And now we have Chris Christie, who's standing by the big government issue. Now, while Rand Paul was in Philly yesterday promising to filibuster any attempt to extend the Patriot Act, Christie was in New Hampshire, here in my state, demanding a clean extension, including an extension of the momentarily illegal Section 215 or 215 that House Republicans and Democrats have joined together in trying to limit. Now, Rand Paul and Chris Christie have tangled before over civil liberties and national security, although never face to face. Now, 2 summers ago, Christie flashed his hawkishness by calling the libertarianism a very dangerous idea in a post-9/11 world. Now, understand, I am not what somebody would call a true libertarian. I think these true libertarians, like the kind that we have here in New Hampshire, they're nutcases. Now, maybe libertarians in your area are a little bit different, but the ones here in New Hampshire, the majority of them, are nutcases. I'm going to lay that out there. So I do not include myself with the Libertarian Party, although I do believe in liberty and in the Constitution. Evidently, it appears Chris Christie does not share my views. Do I share all of Rand Paul's? No, there are certain things, and like certain foreign policy issues, Rand Paul is a total nut. But when it comes to the domestic issues about preserving and protecting your liberty, you cannot preserve liberty by taking it from somebody. So the notion that Chris Christie says you can't enjoy your civil liberties if you're in a coffin is diametrically opposed to what the founding fathers and how they would have reacted to this situation. It was the government's fault in the first place that they had the ability to, and they did not connect the dots to prevent it. So therefore, having this type of overreach is not protecting us anymore when they already had the ability to do so. They just didn't do it. And so because they didn't do it and it scared the hell out of the American people, now they think, now we're going to just, be able to take this idea and run with it. Bad opportunity for bad opportunist. And look, I said this back then. We cannot give up our freedom for a little bit of security because we're not going to end up with it. We're just going to end up with a bunch of stuff around this country that is going to be attacking individuals who have nothing to do with any kind of criminality whatsoever. And we saw it first with the TSA. It was blatant, and the American people were demanding changes. No, look, you got to stop this. Change the TSA. Give it back to private, whatever. The American people were overwhelmingly for reforming the TSA before it was even a year old. Did we get that reform? Hell no, we did not. Why? Because we gave them the power in the first place to create it. And once you create something in this era, in this government, you don't get rid of it. This is my point. Bad opportunists seize the moment. And when they seize that moment, it's over for us. We don't get back to where we were. This is part of the reason why so many people are frustrated with government now over Obamacare, because they thought that they elected a bunch of Republicans who were going to try to get rid of, sure, every once in a while they'll come up and they'll throw up a plan to try to get rid of Obamacare, but nobody, have you noticed? The Republican leadership really doesn't press the issue. Oh yeah, we just voted we voted again to defund Obama. If they want to get rid of it, defund it. Don't fund it. No, we can't shut down the government. Shut down the government. It won't be funded then, will it? There is no backbone for it. Why? Because the government thinks, even on the Republican side, well, it's maybe it's not so bad if we do some tweaks to it. Because all we hear now is, well, yeah, hey, you Republicans, you got to have an alternative idea for this then, don't you? You got to come up with ideas to fix it. No, they don't. But it's bad opportunity time. Once we get something, it is nearly impossible to get rid of it. And you people better wake up, because even people like Chris Christie is telling you, hey, the Patriot Act, yeah, we're not going to get rid of it. We shouldn't get rid of it. In fact, we should double down on it and grow it. And all that's going to do is affect your civil liberties, and your Constitution is going to mean nothing. And once you lose it, you're not getting it back. I'm telling you straight up, folks. This is no joke. You lose the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and everything that it stands for, you are not getting it back. Not without some sort of bloodthirsty revolution. And if you have a revolution, by the time it's all over, you're still not going to get it back. You're going to get something totally different. And it isn't going to be what we once had. Look, because I know people. And you're not going to have the same nation. Because there are going to be states that, hey, revolution, the Civil War is over. Nah, we're not signing on to this. And the nation will no longer exist as we know it. That's just the way it is, folks. That's the way it is. It's because we've allowed bad opportunists to take advantage of us, and they're still doing it. And they're still trying to do it. And they're able to get away with it because we let them get away with it. And then we fall for their tricks. It's kind of like a used car salesman, like that guy who was trying to sell me that Impala by saying that everything was original when I knew for a fact that it wasn't original. Look, we knew the TSA was not going to be a good idea. But, we kind of say, well, maybe it'll be a good idea if they just do it right. But we knew, as the American people knew, it was not going to be a good idea. Just like we knew that Obamacare was not going to be a good idea. But did we put people in place to stop Obamacare? No, we did not. And then we got Obamacare. And then we're like, oh my God, we got Obamacare, but they need to get rid of it. So we thought we'd vote people in who were going to get rid of it. And you know what? They didn't really want to get rid of it. It was too late. We had allowed them to give it to us. Plain and simple. Look, I hate to say it, but you really get the government you deserve. You get the government that you elect. We deserve this government. This is the government that we elected. We deserve all these policies in departments and agencies that they're creating and putting against us and taking away our constitutional rights. Why? Because we voted and elected them into office. It's our own fault, and we're the only ones who can fix it. And we better start fixing it before it gets too far, before it gets to the point of no return, or before we get to a point where we get the ultimate bad opportunist. And you know where that leads. Yeah, some people might call him the Antichrist, but I just say no, it's just another dictator. Somebody who views themselves as being a potentate or a Caesar or a king or an emperor. Don't doubt me, folks. The United States is not immune to that kind of stuff. You just select the wrong person at the wrong time, and they, being a good, bad opportunist, are going to take advantage, and then it's going to be too late. Don't doubt me.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles.
This is a Newsmax.com story. 6 Chinese nationals charged with stealing U.S. trade secrets. More bad opportunists, folks. 3 Chinese nationals who earned advanced degrees from the University of Southern California and 3 others have been charged with stealing wireless technology from a pair of U.S. companies. Now, in other words, they conspired to steal technology from Skyworks Solutions Incorporated and Avago Technology soon after graduating in 2006. A 32-page indictment charging the 6 with economic espionage and trade secret theft was unsealed after Xiao Zhang was arrested Saturday at the Los Angeles International Airport after arriving from China to attend the scientific conference. The 5 others who are being charged are believed to be still in China. And now once that they see that their buddy, Xiao Zhang, is being detained, they ain't coming here. And you better believe that if they're found in China, that the Chinese government are not going to extradite them to the United States. Absolutely not. Well, hey, China, the Chinese government is also a bad opportunist. Look, I don't know how many times that we have traced hacks and cyber attacks in this country to China, and specifically to the Chinese Red Army. They have a cyber division that all they do is sit in a room all day long for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and just try to hack into other systems, be they government systems or private corporation systems across the globe daily. And we're finding out that they're succeeding far more than we thought. These people are not idiots. These are some of the brightest people that China has to offer as far as computer coding is concerned. And they're part of China's army. They're doing the good work for the Chinese government. And a lot of times, they are so good that a lot of times we don't even know that they've broken in to a system. And then all of a sudden somebody one day just like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And they stumble upon it and they find it and they try to figure out, well, how long have they been doing this? And sometimes we have found out they have been in certain systems for years. Bad opportunists come from all over the place. It's not just here in the United States. Now, federal officials say foreign government's theft of U.S. technology is one of the biggest threats to the country's economy and national security. They are particularly concerned with China. Newsmax continues. State Department spokesman Jeff Rathke said Tuesday the U.S. government takes economic espionage very seriously. Well, I hope so, because you seem to be taking, the average everyday American citizen who is no threat to their own country seriously. I mean, really? Why aren't they keeping... Why do they not turn these huge data server farms that they're building and turn them on collecting data from those who really are the enemy? No, I'm not saying that everybody within the United States and every citizen is obviously not an innocent bystander. But the overwhelming vast majority of American citizens are not plotting against the United States in any shape or form. And we are wasting valuable time, money, and equipment by tracking everyday citizens when we see story after story coming out about how external forces are attacking the internal intricacies of the United States, be it private U.S. companies, or it be the power or infrastructure grid. I mean, come on. We're going to be focused on what? We're going to be focused on having these data farms collect our phone metadata? Yeah, we don't know exactly what you're talking about, but, we're just, unless we actually go in and look. Now, see, this is the other thing. No, they don't know exactly what it is that you're doing or talking about unless, the point of collecting the metadata is that it can flag you. And if you say the wrong word in the wrong way at the wrong time, you're going to be flagged. And what happens? They swoop in. They open the file, and then they know all about you. Because it's all there. But at the same time, while they're investigating you, simply because you said the wrong word, but you had no intent of harming your own country or your neighbor, people like Hao Zhang are getting away with actually doing damage to the United States. All of that technology should be turned towards those bad opportunists who really are out there trying to harm the United States of America. But instead, we got a bunch of people here in this country that we call government officials that think, oh, yeah, the American people are bad. Yeah, this person, he loves the Constitution. Something wrong with him. Got to keep an eye on him. Anytime he says anything that we don't like the word Constitution, we're going to look at what he's talking about, saying who he's see what he's saying, see who he's hanging out with, see where he goes on a daily basis. We're going to track him and tail him. And if he even so much as jaywalks, we're going to bust him. Meanwhile, there are true terrorists from overseas who are doing dry runs with box cutters and fingernail clippers on aircraft to see if they can actually break through security. And sometimes they do. And then we run around and we say, hey, those people down in Texas when they had the Islamic cartoon contest. Oh, yeah, they're all the bad people who are participating in running the contest, not the two jerks who should have been tailed and tagged a long time ago, who went down there to try to shoot up the place. Oh, no. Somehow it's the American citizen who's expressing and utilizing their First Amendment rights for freedom of expression. They're at fault because two other idiots couldn't control their tempers. And so now there's talk about, well, maybe we should curtail our First Amendment rights. Really? So now we have bad opportunists trying to take advantage to get our Constitution changed. So it will allow, in certain circumstances, censorship. And I'm amazed and surprised at the number of people who support that notion. Hello? So we have foreign nationals that come into our country, try to steal our secrets, try to shoot us up, try to blow us up, and somehow It is the American citizens' fault. And because it's the American citizens' fault, it dictates that we have government agencies focus on the American citizen. And you want to tell me that Chris Christie's okay? Yeah, he's right. That you can't enjoy your civil liberties if you're in a coffin. Well, we can't enjoy our civil liberties, Governor Christie, if you take them away. So what difference does it make? Well, Rod, at least you'll be alive. Really? We'll be breathing, but we won't be alive. I don't. You know, we have the United States has so many enemies abroad, and those enemies abroad have agents who've infiltrated this country simply because, one, we let too many people who should not be here into the country, and two, even those that we don't let in, they still end up getting in because we don't service and close our borders properly. Right, you just cannot keep them from getting in. We can do a lot better job than we have been doing. Is it going to be 100%? No, nothing is. But is it plausible to say that since you cannot do something 100% that we shouldn't try and we should do nothing at all? That makes no sense. You should try. Otherwise, why make things difficult for people to do in any area? Hey, we speaking of cyber attacks, we have anti-cyber attack and anti-phishing and all that kind of software, right? Well, that doesn't stop all your data from being stolen 100%, does it? No. So why do we have it at all then? Well, because, Rod, we want to try to make it as difficult as possible, and hopefully while somebody who really knows what they're doing, while they're trying to take it, we can see it and stop it. Oh, so that's okay for your computer, but not our border. So we can't work to try to make it as difficult as possible for people to illegally enter the country, and so that we might be able to detect when they are trying, so we have an opportunity to stop them. Hello? What's the difference? There is no difference. It's the same damn thing. Either you're going to try or you're not. And as Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try. Plain and simple, you got to do it. And we don't have people that are willing to do it because they're too much of a bad opportunist because they see an opportunity to line their own pockets with cash or power or both by doing the opposite. Instead of focusing on the external threats, they're going to focus on the supposed imaginary internal threats. From thehill.com. Sanders, that means Bernie Sanders, Sanders calls Clinton's wealth a problem. Now, I don't know what the hell is wrong with Vermonters. And what this guy is like, I believe he's in his late 70s, right? He's like 76 or 78 or something like that. Well, why they elect this jackass? Quite frankly. I mean, the guy is such a big hypocrite. He on one end, he talks about how bad, wealth is and all that kind of stuff. And, what's he making every year? And he lives in Vermont. Not a very expensive state. Presidential contender Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, the communist from Vermont, said that Hillary Clinton's wealth is a problem. After reports surfaced that she and former President Bill Clinton, her husband still, have made roughly $30 million since 2014. It's a problem, Sanders said in a response to a question from CNN's Wolf Blitzer on whether the amount of money was problematic. But a more serious problem is, what do we do about the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America today? Well, I don't know. Do we put somebody like Hillary in charge? They made $30 million in a year. And they don't own a business. Think about that. I mean, it's one thing if you have a business and you produce a product or service that a lot of people are willing to pay you for. See, that's the other thing. You got a business and you make $30 million. You probably sold, a lot more than $30 million worth of product or goods and services, and you weren't forcing anybody to buy it. They just willingly gave you their money, their hard-earned money, because you had something that they really wanted and felt they couldn't live without. The Clintons have no such business. They have no product or service other than giving speeches. So in other words, these two former politicos who are bad opportunists made over $30 million in a year with no business. They produced nothing that contributed back to the economy. Nothing. They received that $30 million via giving speeches and through donations. And yet she claims that she wants to be a champion for the American people, the middle class. They haven't been middle class in about 30 years. I guess a middle class person, they fly first class all the time. They have Secret Service protection. Middle class. They've lived in the White House. They have big homes in New York and in Washington D.C. They took vacations on Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, that's the average American. They make $30 million in a year, and the average American doesn't even come close to making $30 million in a lifetime. But yeah. They know exactly what it's like to be a middle-class average American. Now, the Vermont senator has focused on combating income inequality during his time during the Senate, which is a bunch of BS. What do you mean battling income inequality? You can't have income equality unless you believe that everybody should earn the same thing, i.e., you're a Marxist or communist. Hello? This whole, he's an independent. No, he's not an independent. He's a communist. And he's a bad opportunist. And he will take advantage of every opportunity that turns things in his favor, even if it means running over Hillary and Bill with an SUV over and over and over again. Politically speaking, of course. I don't believe he would really do that in real life. You got to say that, or else somebody's going to accuse you of, being a whatever monger. It's a metaphor. You got to say that too, because there's some people that, people and government officials that live in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda. They're going to say, "Hey, Rod just said that Bernie Sanders is going to run over the Clintons with his SUV." I don't even know if Bernie Sanders actually owns an SUV. I don't particularly care if he does or doesn't. Somebody's going to say, as this I hate to sound like I'm trying to be self-preservationist here, but in this day and age, and as this program gets more and more attention, unfortunately, I get more and more attention. So I really have to make sure that I'm pretty damn clear about what I'm saying. Because otherwise somebody's going to, I don't know, they're going to turn the NSA and Homeland Security cameras and listening devices in on me. And before I know it, I'm going to have, people with dark glasses and suits knocking on my door, asking me all kinds of questions. So, the whole thing about Bernie Sanders running over the Clintons with an SUV is a metaphor. Kind of like a metaphor. Yeah, throwing them under the bus. Do we really mean that you're trying to literally throw somebody under a running bus. No, it's a metaphor. Folks, I mean, seriously. And do you realize how far we have devolved, that people have to actually say that type of thing in order to protect themselves? I thought this was the United States of America, where we had freedom of expression. Really? And there are some people that want to tell me that, well, we got to do this and do this and do this. Really? So that every time you speak, you have to do so with such clarity and hope that nobody misconstrues what you say, so that a government official ends up knocking on your door, possibly hauling you off. That's what you really want. Sanders suggested that legislation he introduced Tuesday that would make college free was crucial. Yeah, why do we need to make college free? So in other words, all those wonderful professors like Elizabeth Warren can make $500,000 a year, while the taxpayer foots the tuition bill to the tune of $250,000 for a 4-year degree. Are you insane, Mr. Sanders? Well, probably yes. I also find it kind of amazing that, Ronald Reagan, they said I was too old. And now we've got a dozen or so people in Congress that are as old or older than Reagan was. And they're fine. Quite a few of them are Democrats, and they're fine. They got all their faculties. But Ronald Reagan, he was just too old. But now these people are at that age or older, and they're fine. And most of them are liberal or rhinos. How is that possible? Oh, because they're liberals or rhinos. That's why it's possible, and that's why it's okay. They can be 80 years old. Look, how old is Hillary going to be if she's elected? 72 to start? Weren't they saying that McCain might be too old? And he was 72, 74? I mean, hello? It's okay for a Democrat. And Sanders is 76, 78? But he's got all his faculties, right? We don't have to worry about Sanders. Oh, no. Bernie's okay. Bernie's a good dude. Bernie's a good communist. Nothing wrong with Bernie. Folks, look, you have just got to pay attention. In order to protect yourself and your family, you've got to pay attention to who's really a bad opportunist. They're all around you. I hate to say it, but they are. From the used car salesman down the street, or downtown, to your local politician, to your national politician like Bernie Sanders or Barack Obama. There are bad opportunists everywhere. And it is your job, along with mine, as voters and citizens of this country, to weed them out and not give them what they're looking for, which is money and power. Power and money. Don't give in to their whims. Don't give in to their angers. Don't give in to their scare tactics. Don't do it. You will regret it. Look, we already have a history of regret. Of modern regret. We regret electing Obama. We regret getting Obamacare. We regret a bunch of stuff on a national scale. Why do we keep voting the same people who give us nothing but regret? Do not allow people like Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton to ever get close to being elected again. That's all I'm asking, folks. That's all it takes, is just take your vote and make it count. And don't be afraid to vote your conscience, because I know you would not vote for a bad opportunist if you actually realize that they were a bad opportunist. Don't fall for their scams and their schemes. We put those people behind bars, believe it or not. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out of time. We will see you back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.